Most people think they need to downsize their lifestyle in retirement, but the truth is, they just need a better plan. If you're nearing retirement or already there, you've probably been told to spend less just in case. Maybe you'd even cut back on travel and held off on big family gifts or second-guessed every withdrawal. Why? Because no one ever gave you a real strategy on how to spend your money. And here's the thing, spending less doesn't guarantee you have enough. In fact, it could lead to the opposite. You could underspend, you could live too cautiously, and you miss out on the best years of your retirement. But what if you could know exactly how much you can safely spend every single year without the fear of running out? Today, I'm going to show you how. Hey, I'm Mark Wisniewski, president of Southern Incomes. Families create confident retirement plans that go the distance without relying on guesswork or outdated advice. And if you've ever asked yourself, how much can I safely spend in retirement, or will I run out of money too soon? Then this video is for you, because today we're breaking down one of the most overlooked parts of retirement, your withdrawal strategy. And no, it's not just about the 4% rule. I'll walk you through the 3 most common spending strategies, the pros and cons of each, and what I recommend to clients who want to protect their lifestyle and their legacy. Let's dive in. Strategy number 1, the inflation-adjusted strategy. This is simple but rigid. This is one of the most commonly referenced strategies in retirement, and on paper it looks good. It looks like it should work. The idea is simple. You start by withdrawing a fixed percentage of your portfolio, typically 4%, and then you increase that number each year based on inflation. This is often referred to as the 4% rule. So if you have a $1 million portfolio, you start by withdrawing $40,000 in year 1. If inflation is 3%, you'll withdraw $41,200 in year 2, and so on. Sounds reasonable, right? But here's the catch. This strategy assumes that you'll spend the same amount adjusted for inflation every single year of retirement. And that's not how real life works. Most retirees don't live on a flat spending curve. You spend more in the early years on travel and experiences and family, and you gradually spend less as you begin to slow down. And yet this strategy locks you into a formula that doesn't adjust for how your real lifestyle shifts over time. Another downside, if you stick strictly to this model, it forces you to start conservatively, even if your portfolio could comfortably support more spending up front. Worse, you could end up with hundreds of thousands of dollars left over that you never touched just because you were trying to play it safe. In other words, you could technically win the game of retirement, die with plenty of money in the bank, but miss the chance to actually enjoy it. That's why the inflation-adjusted strategy is simple and easy to understand, but it may not be the most efficient or fulfilling way to structure your retirement income. It's a baseline, but it's not a blueprint. Strategy number 2, the spending smile strategy, the real-life approach. Now we're getting closer to how people actually live and spend in their retirement. The spending smile strategy was popularized by retirement researcher David Blanchett. It's based on the idea that retirement spending doesn't follow a flat line. It follows a curve, and when you map it out, yes, it actually looks like a smile. Here's how it works. In the early years of retirement, let's say your 60s and even your early 70s, most people are active. They travel, pursue hobbies, and they spend more time and money with their family and generally live life on their terms. This is when spending tends to be at its peak. As retirees enter their mid to late 70s and even the early 80s, activity slows down, travel decreases, and daily routines become more stable. In most cases, spending begins to gradually decline. This forms the dip in that smile. Then there's the final phase of retirement, often the 80s and beyond. Healthcare costs start to rise. You may need long-term care, specialized assistance, or support with medical needs. That's the uptick in healthcare spending, and that forms the second curve of that smile. What makes the spending smile strategy so effective is that it acknowledges how real life unfolds in retirement and helps you plan your income accordingly. This approach allows you to spend more freely and intentionally especially in those early go-go years, and it reduces withdrawals when spending naturally slows down. And it accounts for increased costs related to aging and health later on. It also gives you a psychological permission to enjoy your money earlier in retirement without the fear of running out. Why it works. Unlike the rigid models like the 4% rule, this strategy is adaptive and reflects real human behavior. It gives you more flexibility early on and a better peace of mind later because you've built in the realities of life. Strategy number 3, modern guardrails, a smarter way to adjust in real time. This is where old school rules get a modern upgrade. The modern guardrail strategy is a dynamic approach that helps you spend confidently without guessing and without the fear of running out of money. It builds off the original guardrails concept where you set upper and lower limits on your spending, but makes it smart, more flexible, and way more practical for today's retirees. Here's the basic idea. You start with a sustainable withdrawal amount, and that's based on your age, your portfolio size, and your overall retirement goals. And you also set guardrails, a higher value that tells you when it's safe to spend more, and a lower value that signals when it's time to adjust. The plan monitors your portfolio in real time, monthly or quarterly, and it tells you whether to stay the course, spend more, or make a small cut. If the markets are doing well and your portfolio grows, you can get an increase in your income guilt-free. If markets dip or you're spending too aggressively, it tells you exactly how much to adjust to stay on track. Unlike traditional models that rely on fixed percentages or static plans, modern guardrails adapt to your lifestyle, the markets, and your changing goals. It allows you to avoid overspending in down markets, take advantage of growth when the markets are up, build in real-life behavior like the spending smile for early, mid, and late retirement. Make decisions based on facts, not fear. Here's what makes it different. Instead of looking at the probability of success like old Monte Carlo tools, it shows you how often you need to adjust and by how much so that your plan is realistic and personalized. For example, you might find on average you need to be told to increase your spending every 2 to 3 years. You might need to reduce spending only once every 15 to 20 years. And those adjustments could be as small as 5% up or down, not a total lifestyle change. And the best part, this approach removes the guilt around spending. You're no longer guessing. You're using real numbers to make confident, informed decisions backed by strategy, not emotion. It's not about spending recklessly. It's about spending wisely. So what's the real takeaway? You don't need to spend less in retirement. You just need a smarter spending strategy. The goal isn't to die with a giant portfolio and a pile of regrets. The goal is to enjoy your retirement, live with purpose, and still protect your future. Whether you lean towards a simple inflation-adjusted approach, the more realistic spending smile, or a dynamic plan like modern guardrails, the key is knowing what works for you. Don't let fear drive your retirement decisions. Let data, strategy, and thoughtful planning lead the way. If you're not sure what your strategy should look like or how to apply these methods to your own retirement plan, we can help. Book a free call with my team at Southern Incomes, and let's design a spending plan that actually works for you. We'll show you how to balance peace of mind with the freedom to enjoy what you've worked so hard to build.